Hey guys, Tanner here with Utility Disc Golf. Today I'm coming at you with podcast number 7. It's been about 8 months since we did our last podcast, and there's a lot of reasons for that. A lot of changes that have happened with the way we've been doing things with Utility Disc Golf, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the podcast. Some other things I want to touch on today is the big news coming out about Paul McBeth leaving Innova, and I also want to talk about maybe some other big player moves that are happening. Possibly Sarah Hokom, Kevin Jones, and maybe touch on maybe Simon and Discmania for a little bit as well. So first off, we haven't been producing content a whole lot on YouTube, at least on our channel, if you guys have been following us lately. And the reason that is because we did a big project with Discmania. So if you go to Discmania's YouTube channel or their website and you click on a disc, most likely, if it's a 50-50 chance that you'll see this mug staring at you when you're watching the disc review on the very bottom of the product page. So we did, I think, 11 of their discs for their website, so you guys can see what maybe a normal disc golfer throws from Discmania and how it throws for them. So that was a really big project. It took a lot of work. Some of you may know that Nick, the mustache man that's been on our YouTube channel, has not been on our YouTube or our Instagram for a long time, and that's because he kind of did a social media hiatus for a little bit back, I think, in April, and he also found out that he's getting married. He is married now. And he found out that he has a kid on the way. So he decided to move back to the other side of the state of Washington, over in Gig Harbor area, to be closer to family so they can be better prepared for what lies ahead for them. So Nick's kind of taken a step back from Utility Disc Golf, and so it's been all me running our Instagram and our YouTube for probably the last 8 months. So we are still making content. Just a lot of that has been for Discmania in the last 6 months. The last video that I posted was earlier this week because I had to re-upload it, but it's the H1V2 community review. It's a Prodigy review on their new hybrid series. So if you guys haven't checked that out, I would definitely look at it. I was able to get some help from some of the community disc golfers, some of my closer friends, Huntington and Sterling and Cy and Brian. They came out and they threw a couple Prodigy discs for me while I recorded them, and then they gave us some thoughts on how the disc flew for them and how it might compare to something that's in their bag or something that somebody else might throw. So if you guys haven't checked that video out, I'd definitely give it a look. I have 2 other videos that are going to be similar to that coming out soon. The H3 V2, the H5, and then I believe I'll try to edit an MD4 video that'll showcase the original Crescent Falcon and the MD4 in the Pro line plastic, which is like the softer, kind of feels like KC Pro plastic from Innova. And Discmania just came out with that different plastic blend, and it definitely feels and flies a lot different than the original C-Line Crescent Falcon MD4. So that'll be a cool review. And then I also have a bag review for the Athletico disc golf bag. It's a Amazon company that has a little bit of disc golf products, and they wanted me to do a review for them. So they sent me out a bag, and then I typed the wrong address, but it still came to my house. But then I told them my address was wrong, and they shipped me another one. So I have a brand new one in the box that's ready to go out. So once that review is uploaded and once I record it, I'll be doing a giveaway on that as well. So if you're looking to hopefully win something in November, we're going to be doing a Thanks giveaway month, basically. So about every week I'm going to try to do a giveaway. The next giveaway is going to be posted tomorrow. It's going to be the H1V2 giveaway. I got a brand new orange and blue stamp H1V2 from Prodigy, so it'll be a brand new disc, and that post will be up tomorrow, and then the next week I'll hopefully have the H3 V2 video out, and there'll be a giveaway going along with that, and that's going to be the Will Shoestrick Spectrum plastic, 700 plastic H3 V2. It's the blue one that you saw on my Instagram a little bit ago. So I'll be doing a giveaway for that. And then with the H5 giveaway the week after that, I have a brand new Spectrum. It's a really sweet yellowish orange H5 with the Utah Open stamp on it from Infinite Disc. So a lot of giveaways. And then after that, hopefully I'll have enough free time and enough nice weather to do the Athletico bag review. So yeah, that's kind of what's been going on with utility disc golf. We've still been making content. We've been still throwing. We've been still playing disc golf. It's just we did that big project for Discmania, which was really cool. It was fun to work with a big company and have your face be on one of the bigger disc golf manufacturer's website. So that was a really big honor. And going forward, I'm going to be hopefully posting about a video a week again, similar to how we were posting when we first started the channel. Speaking of which, this is almost the year anniversary of utility disc golf being started on YouTube, and I believe we started our Instagram in September of last year, and it's crazy how fast we grew. I mean, we're still growing, but we just reached 1,300 followers on YouTube, and we're almost at 1,300 followers on Instagram, and we're at over 500 on Facebook. So all that's been grown organically. We're not like following people so they follow us back. It's been all you guys just appreciating the content that we're putting out, and I really appreciate it. We finally got monetized on YouTube as soon as we hit the first monetization guidelines. When in December of last year, YouTube did their whole adpocalypse thing, and they changed all the guidelines to where you had to have 1,000 subscribers and 10,000 hours of watch time in the last 12 months. So you guys watched enough of our videos to get us over the 10,000 hour watch time threshold, and we're over 1,000 subscribers as of a couple months ago. So we're finally monetized, so you might see some ads on our YouTube channel. It's not like we're making crazy money. I think my YouTube account says I have $9 in there, which you can't even withdraw any money from YouTube unless you make $100. So it's cool that there's some money on my YouTube account, but it's not like it's paying the bills yet. So speaking of that, for future goals of utility, just because I'm giving you guys like an update on utility disc golf, my plan is to start carrying Discmania discs and hopefully maybe Prodigy discs in the future. I finally got a business license for utility disc golf, so I have my reseller's permit and all this other business stuff that I'm learning about. So hopefully in the future, if you go to utilitydiscgolf.com or check out our Instagram, you'll be seeing a lot more plastic on our page, and something that you can support the channel and support the content by purchasing the discs from us instead of maybe some other companies out there. So that's the update on utility. Over this winter, I'm planning on keeping the podcast going because I like doing the podcast. I'm hoping to have some guests on. A local pro, Sai Nanda, who was on a couple of our reviews. She's sponsored by Latitude 64. You might have saw her last year on the Las Vegas Challenge. I think it was second day lead card for Jomez, if you want to see her play. She's really good. She has a lot of good insight into disc golf on form and staying healthy and keeping your body staying well so you can play disc golf for a long time, and that a lot of that comes down to having the proper form. And so I'm hoping to get her on for that, and then also maybe just getting her perspective from a disc golf pro who's planning on becoming a touring pro, on like how that is working for her and what she needs to do in order to make her touring pro disc golf her like main career. So look out for videos in the future with her, hopefully podcasts and maybe some like form breakdown videos. I haven't really nailed down anything yet with her, but I think she's interested in doing it with us. The next thing I want to talk about, maybe the topic of the day, since we're kind of changing our format up on our podcast, since it's just me at the moment. The big news coming out today is that Paul McBeth has stepped away from Innova, and it seems to be like the big thing on Reddit, the big thing on Instagram. Everybody's kind of going crazy over one of the biggest names in the sports, probably the biggest name, leaving the company that he's been sponsored by for the last 12 years. So I've seen a lot of funny posts, a lot of funny memes with Paul McBeth leaving. There's been a lot of speculation on where he's going. And I think the name that is popping up the most is Discraft. And when I first heard Discraft, I thought it was just like a rumor, because in my mind, Discraft isn't one of the bigger names in the sport. Right now, it seems like it's more, I would say Innova and like then Dynamic and then Latitude probably as like the biggest names in the sport. And then Discmania is up there as well. So when Discraft was thrown out as a possibility, I was pretty surprised, but I think Discraft has a bigger market in the ultimate world, and so they actually bring in quite a bit of revenue compared to maybe Innova. So it sounds like they might have the amount of money to maybe afford Paul McBeth, because I think in the past Paul has kind of known his worth as far as a disc golfer, and he will step away from contracts or step away from sponsorships if he doesn't feel like he is being compensated what he thinks he's worth, because he is one of the biggest names in disc golf. So he stepped away from Adidas last year, I think, and this year he's stepping away from Innova. So the big thing that I think is going to happen is he's either going to go with Discraft, because that seems like it's the most common name that's being thrown out with him leaving, or I could see him starting his own disc golf company, or maybe partnering with some type of company to where he is maybe there, like maybe he has like ownership of the company or something like that. But I think we're going to find out that he's probably just going to sign with Discraft, and that'll be pretty awesome. He'll basically be following Val Jenkins and being teammates with Nate Doss and Val Jenkins. So Discraft will have a pretty good lineup as far as disc golf pros and ambassadors in the sport. So that'll be cool to see Discraft grow a little bit more in the disc golf area. The other big names that I've kind of been watching out for, or kind of heard, is during the Hall of Fame Classic, I think Paige Pierce might have slipped up. It was either Paige Pierce or Lane King. I'll probably show a little clip. I think they slipped up in the commentary, and they were talking about how Sarah Hokom is now putting with a MVP spin, and they were saying that there might be some news coming out later about that, and they kind of like, once it slipped out, they seemed like they tried to cover it up really quick.
Great approach. What's that disc?
That's the spin.
Spin, yeah.
It's a really, really understable putter, and it's really fun to throw when you need to get around an obstacle.
And actually, Hokom started bagging one of those as well. She's gonna actually, maybe
we might see it later.
Yeah,
later on. Let's look out for it.
So I'm thinking that Sarah Hokom might be switching from Legacy Disc to MVP, and that'll probably be one of MVP's biggest player pickups in a while. Last year, I think Matt Dollar was a big name that got switched over to MVP. And other than that, I mean, there's some local pros that I know that throw MVP, but as far as like big names that are popping up on Jomez or popping up on lead cards in these big tournaments, I think MVP might have a really good player in Sarah Hokom, because she's probably top 3 in the world. I mean, she's always on lead cards. She's winning a lot of tournaments. It's probably her, Paige Pierce, and then maybe like Katrina Allen, and then some young guns like Paige Bjerkes or Lisa Fakis or something like that. So I think that's a big news that we might hear over the winter. I haven't seen anything posted yet, but I think that's probably going to happen just by that one little slip up. I don't have any other inside knowledge. And then the other thing that I saw when trying to research a little bit on Paul McBeth was Kevin Jones is saying that he has some big news to say near the end of the season. If you guys don't know, Kevin Jones is a younger disc golf player who's sponsored by Pro Discus, and he really kind of made his name on the scene this year near the end of the touring season. He was almost on every lead card on most of the tournament coverage through Jomez or Central Coast or the Disc Golf Guy, and he has some really good commentary as well. I can't remember what tournaments he was on for commentary, but he speaks really well. He has really good insight into how he throws the holes and what pros are looking for and what kind of discs and what kind of shots they're trying to throw. So I'm really liking his commentary, and he said in that article that I read that he was trying to do the commentary because he's trying to grow his brand. And I think a lot of these pro disc golfers are trying to continue their career long after their athletic prime, I guess you could say. And so they're trying to build their brand up, build their name up to the point where when they're not winning tournaments or placing in tournaments all the time, they'll still be able to make enough money to support themselves off disc golf, which is really cool. The other big news that came out a little bit before Paul, it wasn't really big news because he didn't change teams, but Simon signed a 5-year deal with Discmania, which I think is unheard of when it comes to disc golf. As far as contract signing with a certain company, I watched the Smashbox podcast where Simon was on, and they were saying that a lot of times these sponsorships with players are more just kind of like handshakes. There's not a whole lot of like legal tape or paperwork people sign when they do these contracts. It's basically just like, hey, you're going to be on the team. We're going to pay you this much a month. We're going to give you this much for whatever you do in terms of tournament wins, and then you'll have a signature disc and you'll get this much of the profit. At least that's how I see player sponsorships going. But Simon apparently signed a 5-year deal with Discmania, and after listening to Simon talk about it a little bit more, it sounds like there's a renegotiation periods happening in 2020 and like 2021 or 2022. So it's not technically a 5-year contract because both sides could technically separate at a certain point, and but it's still big news in terms of disc golf. I mean, we're finally getting to the point where these companies are looking at players as vital parts of their company and their business model, similar to probably some other professional sports. So it's cool that disc golf is actually growing to the point where contracts and years on contract with companies is actually kind of a news-worthy event. The other thing that I kind of saw in that Smashbox article is that Discmania seems like they're moving to Colorado, and Dana Vici, I think, was on the podcast, and in the comments he was saying that it's public knowledge that Discmania is moving to Colorado, but I don't know if that means that they're moving everything to Colorado as far as their distribution and their warehouse and everything, or if they're just having a second home base, because I know they're stationed kind of in California next to Innova. So yeah, if you guys know, leave them in the comment section below. If you're on the YouTube video, if you know any more information on Discmania moving to Colorado, whether it's they're creating their own disc now and stepping away from Innova, or if they're just setting up like a different hub. It sounds like they're trying to build around Eagle and Simon in Colorado, and there's a big disc golf scene in Colorado, so it makes sense to have a disc golf headquarters there. So that's kind of big news. We're gonna I think it's going to help Discmania be able to get their disc to more American players, because I think one of the biggest complaints about Discmania is that it's really hard to get their discs if you don't order it right from their website as soon as they launched a new product or a new plastic type. At least I know with some of the local, like Play It Again Sports, it's kind of their orders kind of seem like they take a long time to get in. And I'm not sure if that's from a production standpoint or like a distribution issue, but it'll be cool to have Discmania grow even more, because this is the year of the Shield. And if you guys don't know, Utility has been a part of Discmania's media team, and we did all those reviews for them. So it's really cool to see Discmania growing. The mantra this year and the hashtag was the year of the Shield, and I think Discmania definitely made a big impact on the sport this year, and it seems like they're trying to make a bigger impact for next year. So it'll be interesting to see how Discmania grows and where that goes from there. If you guys have any other rumors or inside knowledge on other player movements over the winter, leave them down in the comment section below. I'd be interested to hear what you guys have to say. We'll also be posting our giveaways on Instagram and Facebook. So if you like Prodigy, if you want to try Prodigy out, the November lineup of disc reviews is basically going to be all Prodigy, and the giveaways are going to be Prodigy. And I'm really liking their plastic. I think their 400 plastic is probably the nicest feeling plastic I've ever thrown. It's kind of feels like a Champion or like a Lucid or an Opto. Lucid, is that the right word? Or Opto plastic, but it's like gummier. It's not quite like Z Flex from Discraft, but I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of like a gummy Champion. It's really nice feeling plastic. So anyway, look out for the giveaways in November, and then if you're interested in getting a bag, we're going to have a bag review if the weather is nice enough for us to film over the next month. So be on the lookout for the giveaways. We're going to try to keep having content coming out on our YouTube channel, and if you guys want to see some of our other videos that we've made over the last 6 months, go over to Discmania's YouTube channel. I think we'll be posting those reviews on our channel in a couple months, maybe a couple weeks, but they're going to be a little bit different as far as the graphics, but it's basically going to be the same review. So yeah, we're going to have a lot of those videos popping out every once in a while as well. And with each of the Discmania reviews that we're going to be re-uploading on our channel, I'm going to do a giveaway for those as well. So a lot of stuff happening. If you like plastic, be on the lookout for our giveaways. Thanks for following and subscribing. This year has been really awesome. It's been kind of a struggle and / a learning curve trying to keep up with all the demand as far as companies wanting to send us reviews, which we're really grateful for, and trying to navigate the business side of disc golf and trying to get all that kind of thing sorted out. But the challenges have been cool, and I look forward to many more of them in the next year, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. If you guys want to see more about utility disc golf, keep checking us out on Instagram and Facebook. That's probably where we're the most active in between videos, and I'm going to try to keep coming out with these podcasts as well, so be on the lookout for some more podcasts. Until next time, stay fly.